US President Donald Trump is meeting right now with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Alberta. This video is actually from moments ago. Let's listen in.
It was meant to be a moment of unity. The world's most powerful leaders gathered in Canada to discuss peace, strategy, and the future of humanity. But then everything broke. In front of the cameras, they smiled. But behind closed doors, tensions were boiling. And at the center of it all, Donald J. Summit did for unity, refused to sign the global peace statement. He walked out mid-summit, and from his private jet, he issued a chilling message to the world. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. What did Trump see coming that others didn't? Was this a bold act of leadership or a dangerous gamble that could spark global war? This is not just a political disagreement, this is the clash of global powers, and it may have just redrawn the lines of world diplomacy. Stay with us as we reveal the power plays, the secrets, and the stakes that could define the rest of 2025. The G7 summit of 2025 was supposed to send one powerful message to the world, that the leading democracies of the planet stood together, especially in moments of crisis. As tensions escalated in the Middle East, with Israel and Iran on the brink of direct war, the summit's focus shifted sharply. Diplomats and heads of state worked urgently behind the scenes to draft a joint statement. Its language was carefully chosen, urging calm, de-escalation, and a commitment to peace. By the afternoon of the second day, the agreement was ready. Leaders began lining up to sign what would become a symbol of international unity. But then came a pause and a problem. Donald Trump, now President of the United States, once again refused to sign. He didn't just delay or hesitate. He openly rejected the statement, calling it weak, one-sided, and dangerously naive. In a closed-door meeting, Trump reportedly told the other G7 leaders that calling for peace without naming Iran as the aggressor was, in his words, a betrayal of Israel. To him, the document was more than flawed, it was fundamentally dishonest. And if the G7 expected America to support, Trump made it clear, not under his watch. This moment was more than just a disagreement over wording, it was the public unraveling of G7 unity. While leaders like Emmanuel Macron and Olaf Scholz were urging caution, diplomacy, and restraint, Trump was taking a very different path. He spoke in forceful, almost prophetic terms. We've seen this before. Appeasement doesn't work. Weakness leads to war, not strength. His voice was firm, his mind clearly made up. The room reportedly fell into a tense silence. Some leaders tried to reason with him, offering edits or compromise, but Trump wouldn't budge. And within hours, he did something even more shocking. He walked out. He canceled his remaining meetings, including one with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, and boarded Air Force One. Leaving the summit a full day early, journalists rushed to make sense of what just happened. Cameras rolled as Trump's plane took off into the Canadian sky, leaving confusion, frustration, and disbelief behind. For his supporters, this was Trump being Trump, putting America first, refusing to play along with what they see as performative diplomacy. For critics, it was a dangerous act of isolation, a moment that could weaken alliances and push the world closer to conflict. This was the breaking point, the moment when the most powerful leader in the G7 turned his back on global unity, not because he didn't understand the stakes, but because he believed the others didn't. As soon as Trump left the G7 summit, he took to Truth Social and dropped a bombshell: everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. No context, no explanation, just a chilling warning. The post went viral across every platform, TikTok, newsrooms, triggering global panic. Was a US strike coming? Was war about to start? World leaders were stunned. Iran called it psychological warfare. Supporters called Trump decisive. Critics called him dangerous, but one thing was clear: Trump didn't just speak to the world, he shook it. Behind the scenes, while the world thought Trump was pushing for war, a surprising twist emerged. French President Macron revealed that Trump had actually offered to mediate a ceasefire between Israel and Iran during private talks. This shocked everyone. Was Trump playing both sides, publicly warning of conflict but privately offering peace? Some saw it as a clever power move. Others called it manipulative diplomacy. But one thing became clear. Trump's strategy wasn't chaos, it was control. As Trump's warning gripped the world, US military forces began to shift. Reports confirmed that aircraft carriers were repositioned and troop readiness levels were raised near the Middle East. Though no strike was confirmed, the message was clear. America was preparing just in case. Some called it a bluff, others saw it as a warning shot. But with jets in the air and warships on the move, the world braced for what might come next. The moment Donald Trump walked out of the G7 summit, the global diplomatic balance tilted. French President Emmanuel Macron tried to maintain diplomacy, but sources revealed his growing frustration. Behind closed doors, Macron allegedly said, "This isn't leadership, this is chaos dressed in confidence." France had invested heavily in back-channel talks between Iran and Israel, hoping to broker a ceasefire. German Chancellor Annalena Baerbock was reportedly stunned by Trump's exit. Prime Minister Rachel Reeves tried to walk a tightrope, acknowledging Trump's concerns about Iran's nuclear ambitions while avoiding full alignment with his stance. The UK government urged all G7 nations to stay engaged in dialogue, clearly signaling a desire to contain the damage and preserve Western unity. Tehran responded with predictable rage. State-run media called Trump's message a digital threat of war. Top Iranian commanders promised swift retaliation if any US or Israeli strike occurred. But behind the angry rhetoric, analysts noticed something else. A quiet spike in Iran's military alert levels, suggesting that even Tehran was unsure whether Trump was bluffing or about to act. Israel, meanwhile, stayed officially silent. But analysts say that Trump's stance aligned perfectly with the hardline position of Prime Minister David Katz. In private, Israeli officials likely viewed Trump's rhetoric as a green light, or at least a protective umbrella under which they could operate more aggressively. Whether coordinated or not, Trump's departure from G7 gave Israel more room to act and less pressure to explain. While the West scrambled, China and Russia watched and smiled. Both nations issued vague calls for peace and dialogue, but experts believe they saw an opportunity. And America divided from its allies, the G7 fractured. Perfect timing for China to build economic ties in the Middle East and for Russia to stir up anti-Western sentiment. As Trump leaves the G7 fractured, the world is left wondering, was this a step toward peace or a warning of war to come? One thing is certain, the global balance is shifting and history is being rewritten in real time. What do you think? Is Trump playing 4D chess or playing with fire? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the moments that shape our world. Thanks for watching.